So there's one thing regarding laws that I mentioned during the cohort meeting last weekend that I wanted to expand upon. And I had talked about flag raising and national anthems. Now, the reason I bring this up is so I currently work in China in Shanghai in a bilingual high school. But every Monday we are required, everyone, staff, students, everybody is required to attend flag raising every Monday morning. And they also play the national anthem for China, of course. Now, I don't think national anthems and flag raisings are inherently wrong per se. I mean, of course, as an American, I'm used to doing national anthems and Pledge of Allegiance, of course, is very much part of American public schooling. I bring it up. It is a law. It is required. I bring it up because we are teaching the IB curriculum. And here's the interesting thing. The IB curriculum, I'm not going to say it preaches per se, but it definitely is a proponent of the idea that nationalism is inherently wrong. And IB is always trying to promote a global idea. You could say it's definitely a globalist agenda. Maybe the more cynical person would say that IB is definitely purported by people with a globalist agenda, globalist elites, if you really want to go that route. But I bring it up and there's even a photo in the textbook that lists what nationalism is and what globalism is, and you can definitely tell it's very much in favor of globalism, absolutely. So I think there's an interesting dynamic going on here between globalism and nationalism. And for me, how it impacts me as a teacher, as an educator, is that you're supposed to teach, and this is another thing about IB too, is that you're supposed to teach, as an English teacher, you're supposed to be geared towards Anglophone culture. You're supposed to revolve everything around Anglophone culture, but that's a specific culture. But again, we want to create global leaders. We want to create globalism. So why are we focusing on Anglophone culture? As English teachers, why are we focusing specifically on Anglophone culture? And I understand why, because most of our students are preparing to study abroad in English-speaking countries, the US, UK, perhaps Canada. I do have a couple of students that may study in Europe. I think one may study even in Japan. So it is all over the place. But generally, most students that I teach are planning on studying in the United States, and there's a few in the UK as well, and a couple in Canada. So I understand the idea of trying to focus or trying to teach more based on Anglophone culture to prepare them, because they will be studying in an Anglophone country for their higher education. But I just think that sometimes there's conflicting ideas here because they still have to respect the Chinese way, the Chinese government, Chinese principles, and they have to honor the Chinese flag. They have to show respect to the Chinese national anthem. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because as an American, I have no problem doing that with the American national anthem or the American flag. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong showing honor or respect to your national flag, your national anthem. I just think that sometimes perhaps we're sending mixed messages by having them participate in the national anthem, but also wanting to teach them that nationalism is wrong. And it's really a head scratcher. I suppose perhaps IB wants to have it. They want to have their cake and eat it too, or maybe the Chinese want to have their cake and eat it too when it comes to how they construct this. It's interesting because at my school, Chinese are not allowed. They don't, for the primary school and the middle school, they follow a more Chinese-based curriculum. They don't do IB. It's only the high school that does the IB curriculum. So again, it's just the idea that where do you draw the line here? Which one is more important? So I think it's a very interesting debate. I think it's an interesting topic. I think it's something that needs to be explored more. It's something that I may be a little bit critical of the IB curriculum and the IB system. So, but I'll give it let the people consider it and let the people think, okay, well, is it okay? Is it much ado about nothing? Does it really not matter? I think it'd be an interesting debate.